Hey gang, Clark Wagaman here, Sacramento Patio by CW Designs. We're out here in Fairfield installing an opening louvered roof system, the Louver opening roof, the only roof system, opening roof system we'll install because it's the best on the market. It has a cool airfoil design, so it's a little curved on each 6-inch louver. It's not totally flat, so it's really interesting and beautiful to look at. We're doing an install video, so we're going to go through a lot of the procedure on how to put these together. They're really, really simple. This louver system has the fewest parts involved in installing it, the fewest parts on the market. So it's extremely simple, which makes it extremely strong. It's not going to break because it doesn't have a lot of little parts. Check us out. Let us know if you have any questions. Reach out, certainly. We're here to help, and check out our video. Okay, so we're installing this louver on a wall. We're going to use a wood-filled ledger. It's a 2x6 in this case, wood-filled aluminum ledger. We're mounting our half gutters up first. It's 2-base system, so we have a center beam and 2 outside beams, one on either side. We're cutting our half gutters first. That goes in the front and the back of the louver system. And we're going to notch it out 4 inches to accept the louver gutter beam. And the louver gutter beam is the big piece that holds all the louvers. Essentially, this is your front gutter. The louver gutter beam is the side piece on the perimeter gutter, and it will slide into this. So we're notching this so the louver gutter beam, the large piece, slides down into here. We're marking some holes so we can drill out our lags. We're going to drill some holes in the ledger so we can install the lags into the house wall right now. Every 16 inches on here. Check your engineering to make sure that it's within your plan. We're getting the ledger lagged in now. It's all set. We're just adding the last few lags into the wall and tightening it up. You can see that there's the left and right side are prepped with half gutters, and they're notched out ready for the louver gutter beam to drop into those half gutters once we get the frame in place. There's going to be 3 2x6s to frame in this louver, a right, a left, and a center frame member, a 2x6 that'll rest over a 3x8 header beam in the front. So the ledger's getting lagged in. We'll get the rest of it framed up, and you'll see that go in as well. So we're going to patch a couple of screw holes here, and when we screw into metal, there's going to be a burr. We need to clean the burr. I'm going to take a razor blade, run the razor blade around the edges of that hole to clean the burrs off, all these burrs first, and then before we patch that section, we want to indent it a little bit so that when we patch it, it's flush. If you don't indent it, right now it's like a little volcano, and when you seal it, you'll see that. If I push it back in with the blunt end of the blade, then it pushes it back in, so when I seal it, the sealant's flat, and you paint it, you don't see it. Okay, I'll show you. This is one of our louver gutter beams is all prepped out here. This portion that as I'm facing this as it'll be installed, this is the left hand. My left hand is the back where it would attach to the house wall. And so the first punch is 3 7/8 from the end of this gutter beam right here. As I'm going to measure that, I'll show you as I measure from the end of the gutter beam, we already cut it. It's 3 7/8 to the center of this punched out U that will accept the first louver. That's important. Once we cut that, now we can measure to the other end, 11/1, cut the whole louver gutter beam, and it's ready to be installed because we want a 1/2 inch space in the front and the back. And we've also, as we'll show you in a minute, we've cut out a 3-inch opening in the louver gutter beam for our water to flow from one gutter beam to the other. This louver gutter beam is going to be set inside the half gutter. All right, we're putting our beam and post kits together. This is the same scenario you've seen on other install videos. If you need more detail, check out like our flat pan install, insulated install, maybe some of the lattice patio cover installations. Eventually here we'll also do some individualized components to show you exactly how those components go together. This is just our 3x3 post. It'll have 2 2x6s sandwiched on both sides later on today. Not right now. They're just going to use the 3x3 inside bracket mounted to the beam, and then the 3x3 mounted to that bracket. The bottom bracket's already mounted at the top, or the bottom of the post rather. They're going to build this, flip it over, we're ready to frame our louver. This part's exactly like our other patio covers. Right, so this particular louver installation has 2 louver bays and 1 downspout. So we need to allow the water to flow from one bay to the other bay when it rains. So we're going to have to notch the center louver beams and the center frame so that the water can flow from the one side to the other side. So we'll show you that right now. And then after we show you the notch, we're going to notch the front louver half gutter. There'll be a continuous gutter all along the front of the two bays. This is two 9-foot bays, so it'll be approximately 2.5 inches, something like 18.2 or so, 18.2 We'll show you that right now. Okay, so what we've done is we've just notched out the back of this gutter beam so that water can flow continuously, and the 2x6 frame in between and the other gutter beam behind it, because there's gutter beams back to back on a dual base system, are notched also, so like I say, the water can flow right through here. This is a 2x2 space that we notched out, and this is also notched here so that water can flow continuously from the half gutter beam to the full gutter beam. And this is our, while we're at it here, I'll show you, this is our louver gutter beam. That's the gutter and the beam for the louver. The louvers sit into this notch right here. Okay, we've got a notch on our gutter beams on the left front section, the middle section, and the right front section, ready for our continuous louver half gutter to be installed in the front of this, which will finish out the framing. We're going to show you how we notch out the continuous half gutter. It's real similar to the back half gutters that we already did, with the exception that the center section is going to accommodate for two louver gutter beams, in this case one 2x6. If you're framing with a 3x8, it would be two louver gutter beams and a 3x8. We're just going to measure that opening up there in the air, and we'll have to notch out this half gutter to fit right over that when we slide it into place. All right, next step, we notched our half gutter for the front of this louver patio that joins the two bays together for a single downspout. We've got our 4-inch notch on the left side of the patio here, and it came out to about a 10.25-inch notch in the center here. You'll have to measure in the field to make sure your notch is accurate. In this case, it was 10.25 in the center, and another 4-inch notch on the far side. Slid everything into place. It fits really nice. Now we'll put our 2x6 frame member up in the front of the patio, and we'll be ready to start dropping some louvers into place. Okay guys, day 3 actually, we're on here. We're going to wrap up the louver patio install and instruction here. And this is our louver armbar that opens and closes the bays. This should be pre-punched for all the louvers that you need. In this case, we're doing 11-foot bay louver cover, and that means if each louver is 6 inches, then we have 22 louvers. So there's 22 holes here. You might double check and count that you have 22 consistent holes, one after the other, 6 inches. I'm going to take and we're going to cut, there's extra on here, so we're going to cut from the first and last hole, cut the excess L metal here, that's our armbar, about 1/8 or so from the hole, really close, so that it doesn't touch anything when it opens and closes. So we've already pre-cut the piece that we're putting up now. When we do go to install this, we install this so that the louver is this side of the L metal. So the louver's here, and we'll do that in a minute, we'll show you, but we have a grommet. These grommets right here, okay, they have a little flange on them. The grommet goes this direction in the L metal, and the louver will be on this side where my finger is, okay, and then we're going to put a 10x1 screw this direction into the louver screw boss, and don't over tighten it. You tighten it just before it gets snug so it doesn't create any friction when opening and closing. That's how you install the grommet and the screw into the screw boss on the louver. All right, guys, we've wrapped it up. We've got our louver patio installed. This is day 3. We're out here in Fairfield. This is the AeroLouver opening roof system, the only one that we'll install. Opening roof systems are super popular right now. AeroLouver is the best system for you. It's beautiful. Have a look at the airfoil design. It does a great job of blocking the sun completely and allowing sun in when you want it as well. It's going to stop the rain for the most part with the perimeter gutter system and drain to the front of the patio here. Clark Wagaman here, Sacramento Patio by CW Designs. This is the AeroLouver opening roof system by Cedarloom Manufacturing. Drop a comment, like and follow for more. Appreciate it. Guys, here we are. This is the electrical on our louver patio, our AeroLouver patio cover systems. This is really the basic setup on how we wire the transformer, receiver for the remote, and the actuator. Here's what we have here. We have our transformer right here, this box. And so this is going to just plug into an outlet, a wall outlet. Most of the time we need to run a Romex to this, so you'll cut and splice this and wire nut it in a protected box. So this is just going to be like a 110 from the house. This box is going to convert it to DC because these actuators are DC actuators. And this one actually came with a connector. So it's really easy. We'll give you a weather tight box that all this goes into. And so you'll plug the transformer, AC to DC transformer, into the receiver, just like that. So this is your receiver for the remote. It's already pre-programmed. And just on a side note, if you have multiple receivers, you may just double check the number on the back here to make sure that they're a different code. You don't want the same code or they wouldn't operate correctly, right? So the code's right here on the back, and it should match the back of the receiver box here, these two codes. And the actuator just plugs directly into the receiver. So once again, if you have to extend this, which in most cases we do, this is only 4 feet. It's not going to be long enough because most of the time this weather box is going to be on the house wall. The actuator will be all the way out in the patio, so you're going to run wire through the patio cover to the actuator. And so we actually will cut and splice this as well. It's just a red and black wire. And because it's DC, however you wire this, if you splice this in, when you use your remote, if you don't like the up and down button, like if the actuator goes down when you want it to go up, all you have to do is take this wire when you splice it and swap them. Just unwire nut them and unwire them the other way. Opposite. It's black to red, red to black. Just switch it. Super easy. In this case, to show you the simplicity of the system, this also is prepared or ready to just plug into this receiver. So if it was close enough, you could do that there. And this receiver will take 2 actuators at a time. And the remote has one right and left side for up and down operation, and the stop button's in the middle. The actuator has a bracket kit that I've already installed on here. I'll slide this aside. The rear bracket and the front bracket. If you were to attach this to a single bay, that's how this is set up right now. I've already got the rear bracket installed and the cotter pin ready to be bent in place so it doesn't come apart. You would screw this into the top of your framework and make sure you have extruded metal to screw this into. Don't screw this into embossed metal. We use a number 10 screw in the front underneath the actuator, otherwise the actuator won't rotate, and a number 14 in the back. All sheet metal screws, not self-tapping screws, sheet metal screws. And this bracket up here will attach to the arm bar on the louver, so the louver arm bar. On a 2x6 trim kit, it's going to come with a larger spacer, this larger white spacer. We just have this easy release connector for the actuator to bracket. This is the spacer for the 2x6. If you use a 3x8 trim, we're going to add a small spacer, so make sure you get these 2 spacers. They go together on a 3x8 trim and just the big one for the 2x6. So again, this guy's just going to slide through the actuator. You place your spacer on there, place them both on as if we have a 3x8 trim, and connect that. This bolts onto your arm bar, this bolts onto the trim in the middle or the side of the louver, and this will extend out and in as we operate. Okay, so on the dual connection, if you're going to connect one actuator to 2 bays and have both louver bays open at the same time with one actuator, we're going to give you 2 bracket kits. So you're going to need to use 2 top brackets. The bracket kit comes with a bottom and a top, so you're going to have an extra bottom bracket. Obviously, you're just going to need 1 for a single actuator to operate 2 bays. And you should get 2 more of these spacers. So instead of using this, this easy connection pin, you're going to have a single, and I didn't bring one out, but it's just a single 3/8 inch, 7-inch stainless steel bolt with a nylock nut. and all these spacers will go together, and you will just connect those together with a bolt and a nut and make sure they're nice and straight, and then you'll screw both of those into the 2 arm bars to open and close that system. So it really is that easy. But like I said, if this has been confusing, you just don't get it the way I'm explaining it, give us a call, comment, reach out. We want to show you how this works. It's the simplest system on the market. Anyone who's built a louver before has done these, and they know it is ridiculously simple compared to others. Thanks so much. Let us know.